second priority is to make sure that those banks receiving assistance will be viable once public support is withdrawn. Bank restructuring must be carried out in a way that ensures financial stability while maintaining a level playing field. The Commission will not abdicate its responsibility for the implementation of European competition law. As I've said, the priority is to restore growth. For now, and for some time to come, we are relying on the significant stimulus given by macroeconomic policy instruments. But that cannot go on indefinitely. As I have indicated, we are already preparing our exit strategy. The point is that the usefulness of those macro instruments will inevitably become exhausted. Indeed, they may at some point become harmful. Such policies can be compared to additive to the fuel of a car engine. Yes, the additive helps the car to move and move more quickly, but too much of additive will damage the engine. So at some point, new sources of growth will have to take the relay. Let me just briefly outline some of these. First of all, it's critically to keep and to develop and to deepen open markets and investment regimes globally, because as we have seen during this crisis, this is indeed a problem of interdependence. As the world's largest exporter, the European Union has an interest in fighting for open markets and open investment regimes. Yet, at the same time, we must be ready to defend in a coherent manner, without any kind of naivety, our interests. In many cases, it is non-tariff barriers which are the major barrier to European Union exports. So we'll push for greater regulatory cooperation with our main trading partners. Another important source of growth is the internal market. We need to revisit the single market. It is our greatest asset, but it is still not complete, and we are still not exploiting its full potential. Another important point are the networks of the future. All Europeans must have access to high-speed broadband, and the secure energy supply and good interconnections are essential to power growth. The Baltic interconnectors, Nabucco pipeline projects, for example, have shown what can be achieved. We need to see these initiatives through the completion and launch other initiatives at European networks for energy. A deep overhaul of our innovation policy is also critical. Among other things, we must harness the power of government procurement and set out a new intellectual property strategy. An even greater emphasis on skills is important. The crisis will change Europe's labour market a great deal. Some industries and sectors will decline. We'll have to ensure a smooth restructuring process and help people to move into different sectors. The investments we will be making to create a green economy will also create new green jobs. Meanwhile, the aging of our population will create more so-called white jobs, caring for older people and indeed caring for children. As more and more women enter the labour force, our task is to ensure that people have the skills they need to move into some of these new jobs. They must be prepared for the job of tomorrow, not the job of yesterday. Ensuring a smooth transition to the low-carbon, resource-efficient economy, this is indeed a great opportunity. This should not be seen, and next time has been one of the strongest advocates of this, as, in fact, a problem for the economy, the agenda. On the contrary, it can be a driver for growth, the transition to a low-carbon economy. This means also maximizing the opportunities for business and making sure that our environmental policies take account of the situation of European industry and its capacity to adjust. We need more industry determined, applied research to bring new cutting-edge products and clean technologies to market. I'm delighted that Professor Manuel is here today. As you probably know, he has just taken up the position of Secretary General of the European Research Council. We have created the European Research Council in 2007 as part of our common European research area. It has already acquired an admirable reputation for funding excellence and making funding available for blue sky research. I wish Professor Manuel the very best in his new functions. And I want to underline this point because I think that one of the sectors where we really have to invest in the future at European level, using all the synergies that I mentioned of Europe is precisely research and innovation. Finally, improving the quality of public expenditure could be a key growth factor. With reduced resources coming from financial markets, governments may have to step up growth-enhancing expenditures. Yet at the same time, we will be subject to severe constraints themselves. Prioritization will be paramount. So I believe that there may be a case for extending the surveillance under the Stability and Growth Pact to include an assessment of both expenditure and taxation to see whether they are sufficiently growth-friendly. Ladies and gentlemen, managing this crisis, preparing to exit from it, restoring growth built on a new, more sustainable paradigm. This is outline of my economic thinking. I am profoundly confident about Europe's prospects, not just because of our immense strengths, our stable democracies, our single market, our successful single currency, the euro, and so on. Not just because of everything we have achieved in the past 5 years, namely, making a success of the biggest enlargement in our history and becoming the first region in the world to implement far-reaching, legally binding energy and climate change targets. But because in a strange way, I think that we have been strengthened by the crisis. This crisis has taught us, and is still teaching us, just how interdependent our economies are, in a European level and at global level. And so even those more Eurosceptics, even those that resist precisely a more clear and coherent European dimension, are now starting to understand that globally they cannot really influence the developments of the economy if we do not include the European dimension. I think now we know much better that to safeguard our prosperity, to keep our social market economy and the specificities of our European model, we must coordinate our policies better and earlier in the future. We have emerged with a renewed sense of purpose. I believe that we will now go from strength to strength, and that with resolve and imagination, Europe will be a leading player in the 21st century economy. Thank you for your attention.